Revenue.
Pechakucha Project by
Theron Pittman,
Mallory Hanson.
and James Tyler.
Revenue is the profit that the theaters are making after all the income and expenses are considered. Revenue equals kuna.
Kuna is the change in unrestricted net assets. To get kuna, you take the total unrestricted income subtracted by the total unrestricted expenses, and then you have kuna. Capital gain or loss means to lose revenue. This is bad for theater companies because they need the income to help repay for the shows they previously put on. A capital campaign is different because it's the actual event being held to gain money. So for example, a theater puts on a show. The event they use to raise money.
working capital equals total unrestricted net assets minus fixed assets minus unrestricted long-term investments. The working capital ratio equals working capital divided by total expenses. Fixed assets equals total land plus building plus equipment at cost minus accumulated depreciation. The investment ratio equals total investments divided by total expenses.
While on the subject of capital gains or losses, the graph above shows a theater from the year of 2008 to 2012. The bright yellow highlighting shows the changes of the capital gains and losses for this specific theater in percentages. As you can see, they fluctuated greatly. Endowment is when a donor gives a donation and the money is put into the budget. The board can also decide to give out money to certain projects that are being worked on. They are restricted to the board only, however. Free equipment and facilities are only offered to those who work there, so if someone is working on a set, they are free to use the items there to complete it.
The average theater ended 2012 breaking even in kuna and therefore ended up making more money than originally spent. Along this, after the fiscal cliff in 2008, the kuna began to plummet, but successfully broke even in 2010, but has stayed above zero ever since.
For nonprofit theater companies, the overall goal is to break even, or at least be as close to the break-even line as possible. The break-even line is crossed once a theater has made more money than they used for all of the expenses originally.
There are two types of income. There is the earned income and the contributed income. Both of these are needed for a theater's success.
Educational or outreach income means to bring theater to educate or to those less fortunate than others. For example, children's theater. When you buy subscriptions to theaters, you're buying a package deal, getting a smidge more for your buck. However, buying single tickets costs you more if you see more than one show a year.
The graph shown shows the attendance of shows over the last 10 years. In green is the total attendance not including tours. In blue shows the single ticket attendance. And finally, in pink, it is the total subscriber attendance.
Endowment earnings are basically donations that people decide to donate to the theater company. Concessions are bought at intermission, generally, and rentals mean renting things out such as costumes, sets, lights, etc.
Contributed income includes federal, state, and city/county funding. This means that the mayor of your city, for example, can give you funding to put on theatrical shows, such as Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats, the musical. Corporations, foundations, trustees, and other individuals can also donate to the theater, which in turn can give more funding to go to Cats, or any other show you really want to produce. However, someone can decide to give you X amount of dollars, but say you can only use it to produce a specific show for X amount of years after they're rotting in the ground.
Fundraising events means things like, for example, what's done by a lot of people in New York. They do a fundraiser at Schmackery's. It's basically a big bake sale. Other contributions mean that, say, you find a $20 bill on the ground. You can put that into the budget. The highlighted area on the graph shown is the total earned income. As you can see, the amounts here are fluctuated, starting at 56.7% and ending lower at 53.5%.
On here, same as the percentage graph, it shows the amounts from 2008 to 2012. It started at $54,175,713 and ended at $54,176,078. According to this graph, the amounts increased from 2008 to 2012.
And this concludes our Pechakucha. Thank you for watching. We enjoyed you coming. And no, we're not just trying to add 20 more seconds on to our presentation.